Are you able to see the screen, everyone?
Yes, sir.
No,
Yes.
I can't see the screen. Yeah, okay, now I can see it now.
Okay. So if I have a class A over here, let's say this is my class A. Okay, let me label it. So let's say I have a class A over here, and considering this to be my parent class, and I have a child of A to be B. Okay. So if I have a child of class A to be class B, that basically means that I'm inheriting the properties of A into B, right? This is the arrow that I can put. And this does not mean that B will not have its own properties, okay? A
Yes, sir.
and B will have their own properties, okay? A and B will have their own properties. And along with these properties, I can also access A's properties, okay? That's what it means by inheritance, right? Able to understand this, right? So
Yeah.
Yes,
this
sir.
kind of inheritance is known as single inheritance. Okay, so we call this as single inheritance. Okay, and then let's say we have two classes A and B. Okay, so if we have two classes A and B, okay, so if I say class A over here and class B over here, so if these two classes properties are being inherited by a third class, then we call this as multiple inheritance. Okay, so if I'm supposed to make an arrow, instead of using an arrow, I can simply use a line, right? So if I'm inheriting the properties of two distinct classes, okay, two distinct classes into one. See, I'm focusing on the word distinct, because then there is a type of inheritance where I have the relation between A and B. I'll of course come to that. So these are two distinct classes, and I am inheriting the properties of A and B all together into one small package known as C. Is that clear? So this kind of inheritance is known as multiple inheritance. Okay, multiple inheritance, right? Then I was talking about the other kind of inheritance. So if I have a class A over here, okay, if I have a class A over here, let's say I have class A. Class A's properties, okay, class A's properties are given to class B. Okay, so if I'm supposed to find the arrow, so class A's properties are given to class B. Okay, and then I have another class C which has B's property. Okay, so indirectly class C will have which all classes properties? Indirectly class C will have which all classes properties? Yes, it will have the properties of A and B, which are similar in some manner. Okay, that is, they might fall under the same category or something like that. Okay, so if at all, this happens, this kind of inheritance is known as multi-level inheritance. Okay, because this is happening in multi-tiers, right? That is.
Sir, can you please repeat that? There was something wrong with my connection. I couldn't hear you and I couldn't see the screen either.
Okay, so if I have a class A and I give the properties of class A to class B, and I give the properties of class B to class C, okay, so indirectly class C will have the properties of A as well as B, which are interrelated in some manner. Okay, so such kind of inheritance is known as multi-level inheritance. Okay, such kind of inheritance is known as multi-level inheritance. Now, multi-level inheritance happens only when you have the relation between those two classes. Okay, like for example, if if you are creating a class car, okay, and you're creating the properties for you know then you're creating a class Ford, okay, then you're creating a class Ford, and then you're creating a class uh let's say you're creating a class Ford India, and then you're creating a class Ford America. Okay, so this basically has some relation between each other, right? This has
Mm-hmm.
some inheritance, this has some relation between each other. Okay, so basically if I'm if okay if I'm creating Ford India as well as Ford America, then I'm basically trying to prove a relationship between these two, and there might be slight differences in terms of little things. That is, maybe those of course you can imagine what's the difference between India and America, but the manufacturer or something of that sort. Okay, so these three types are clear to you,
Yes, sir.
all of you. These three types are clear.
Yes.
So there is
Yes, sir.
one more type. There's one more type. So you know okay, there's one more type. So the mixture of any of two. So if I have a class A and I have a class B, okay, and let me copy this so that it's easy for me. Okay, so if I have a class A and I have a class B, I have class C as well, then I give the property of class C to, let's say I have another class D. Okay, so I give the property of class C to class D. Okay, so this is the combination of multiple as well as single, right? Yes, this is the combination of these two.
So as
Yes,
So
well
this,
sir.
as multi-level.
sorry.
It, it's also multi-level inheritance, right?
No, see, considering that class A and B are distinct, okay, it becomes, so that's where I told you that multiple inheritance, okay, class A and B are totally independent of each other. Okay, it's not like how it is in you know in multi-level inheritance, because if at all I'm supposed to say that class A and B are related to each other, then it becomes what? Multi-level inheritance. Correct? So we are not
Mm-hmm.
saying that we are following the multi-level inheritance. A and B are independent of each other, so as C and D. Okay, so in case of single inheritance, if we implement single inheritance, it automatically becomes relatable, right? Because we are the basic concept of inheritance is to try and establish a relationship between two classes. It may be distinct or not, that is a different story, but still. Okay, so over here we are following something known as multiple as well as single, right? So this kind of inheritance would be called as hybrid level inheritance. Okay, hybrid inheritance. Okay, inheritance. So all these four types are clear to you.
Yes, sir.
All these
Yes.
four
Yeah.
types are clear to you.